Hello, you're watching the Restimators. We are on week number 12 in our early retirement journey. Last November, we started a public account with $50,000 and every week we deposit $500. Our goal is to reach $700,000 in 10 years by maintaining a yearly return rate of 15%. Every Monday, we make changes to that account. If you want early access to these transactions, you can sign up for the retirement tracker. Link is in the description. So this week I'm actually gonna do something different. I'm gonna use Robinhood instead of the retirement tracker to demonstrate how difficult it is to extract the data that is easily available to you on the retirement tracker. For starters, I don't have a easy sense how much I'm making per week, per month, or per year. That information is not at all available. So that's nice that you can get your average. It plugs into your Restimators card, and then you see how you're progressing towards retirement. So in my opinion, even if you're just adding one account to the retirement tracker, which is free, by the way, there is value, right? Because you can see how you're progressing over time on a weekly basis, monthly basis, and a yearly basis. I actually wish that Robinhood would have like a year-to-date flag here that I can click and see what is my performance for this calendar year. Because I know for sure that is one of the worst start of years in the past years. In fact, this week, VTI, which is the total market index that we are using, it went down 5.14%. This is like really bad. Our account overall this week, we went down 5.95. So we went down roughly as much as the market did. And it was, in fact, the worst week we've ever had in the public account, where we lost more than $3,000 in account value. Of course, I don't want to lose $3,000 a week in account value, but that can happen. And the important part is that you stay invested, because if you lose the best days in the stock market, your returns for the long term will be very much affected. So I'm still in the beginning of this account. Our plan is for 10 years, and next Monday we'll keep buying with the 500 deposit. So yes, it's bad that we lost 3,000, but I'm not at all concerned because the total market index also sold off. I would be more like concerned if the market is going up, let's say 3%, and our account is going down 7%. Then there's this huge discrepancy. I would start asking myself if I'm doing something wrong with the account. Okay, the next part is we do have the view of the holdings, but it's not easy here to see what is my top performer, what is my biggest lagger. I can see and change the total return, but it doesn't resort the position. So you are having to go and check. I can see like VALE is my best one. But apart from that, I will start to see, okay, everything else I'm losing money, but I'm almost down 10% in the total market, which is the second best. Then Corsair, then PayPal and Alibaba. No, actually Alibaba and PayPal. Not even factoring in the options, because I have some options that are linked to the same holding. In the retirement tracker, we actually group them together by default. So you have a sense on how you're doing on that position inside a given broker. I like the grouping better because they are linked and it's not easy to see then this is not specific to Robinhood, but I think it's very much there for any broker that you use. Okay, so let's go and check what we did this week. We have actually changed quite a few positions here. If we go in account history, on January 19th, we got the weekly deposits. You can see usually I'm only doing one transaction at a time, and this week was actually quite busy. Last week we actually bought more of the Vanguard Total Market Index, but this week we actually established quite a few positions. To start, we actually closed the Corsair put that we sold for a credit for a 50% profit. So if we go down, you should see, I don't know if there's a search. No, there's not a search here. But if we look for Corsair here on Robinhood, you can see that back, I think almost a month ago, it's an infinite scroll. So I would have to go in the older ones and then load. On December 13th, we actually sold a put for February 18th to receive a credit of $500. So the idea is you don't think it's going to go below 20, and someone else is thinking it's going to go below 20. So they pay a premium because they're buying a put because they are bearish on Corsair. I'm bullish on Corsair, then I collected that 500. I received 170 per contract, and I got 3 contracts, and every contract you have to multiply by 100. So that's how you get to the 500. So it was roughly a month or a little over a month that I held this position open. And this week I actually closed it. The way you close a short position, you have to buy them back. And I've bought them back at 80 cents per contract. So I had to pay $240 to close this position, which is a lower amount than I received in credit. So that difference is your profit. So it is roughly a little above 50%. So that is the first position we actually closed, and it is a profitable position. So I'm happy about that. And then it released about $6,000 in collateral that I had stuck in Corsair. And I used these new collateral that was released to buy a put credit spread on PayPal. I received about 840 on credit, and it's this very similar position to Corsair, but PayPal is a way more expensive holding. And then the collateral, if I'm just doing the PayPal, I sold for March 18th, a put on the 160 strike price. Right now, I think PayPal is trading at 164. I couldn't have the collateral. It would be about $16,000 in collateral, and I only had 6,000. So what I did to work around that, I created a spread where you buy a put just as a protection that caps your max loss. In this case, my max loss here is 160 minus 140. In this case, it's $20 times 100, then 2,000 per contract. And I've got 3 contracts out of this spread. So my max loss here is $6,000. And then I'm gonna hold this position. Right now, this position is not doing great actually, because just after I opened this credit spread, PayPal and the whole market started selling off. I'm holding it because I think there is enough time, and then I can go through in the future how you fix a credit spread that is working against you. There's something that you can roll to a next month and collect more credit. I'm not too concerned overall long term. I'm bullish on PayPal, and I'm collecting this 840 on my account, and that's a credit on my account directly. Part of that credit I used to buy more of Corsair, and then I felt VALE has been running for quite a while, and then I sold a covered call on Corsair on the $17 strike price for February 18. This position is actually doing quite well, and there is a likelihood that I will be closing this position this week. So if we open this covered call, the idea is that the collateral is the 100 shares that I've got in my account. So if you go here, I think somewhere they say that your collateral are the 100 shares that you've got. I remember I saw that somewhere, but it's not showing here. But just since we've opened it, we collected $43 in credit. And already, right now, if I want to close this position, I would have to pay $29. So this is pretty good. The gap is your profit. In this case, it's $14 in profit. Overall, I'm up 27%. And when I opened this position this week, I think I timed it right. I opened on the 19th, where it was almost close to 17. So it was paying a really good premium for that covered call. I could have written 4 contracts, given that I have about 400 shares. So it's 100 shares per contract. But I decided just to do one because it could be the case that VALE could keep running, and then I would have to sell VALE to someone for 17, and I want to keep holding VALE for at least 1 year. So I just did this one contract. I'm hoping to close that one this week for a 50% profit. Usually when I sell, I short a position, I aim to close that option contract at 50% profit at least, right? Like otherwise I wouldn't consider closing it. That's it for the transactions that we have done. This is actually quite busier than our regular weekly buys, but I'm trying to follow the Warren Buffett saying that be greedy when others are fearful, and then be fearful when others are greedy. I'll see you next week, and hopefully we're gonna have a green week that it's gonna help offset a lot of these losses we had this week. Don't hesitate to reach out. We are working on some news on the retirement tracker, possibly opening a Slack or Discord group where we can join and chat with like-minded investors, and we'll keep you posted on that. Have a good one.